Let's get to one of the other big topics, the hot assets that we have been watching this year. Bitcoin, of course, has been near the top of the list. We have seen the cryptocurrency, just about quadruple in 2020. Our Dan Roberts tracks Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies, although Bitcoin really is the one that we talk about these days, Dan. And so I wanted to kind of ask you for your thoughts here as we close out the year. And we did not obviously see a late year crash like we did in 2017. Bitcoin has kept right on going.
Yeah, Julia, it's hard not to think that all of the factors are converging right now for Bitcoin's argument, both as an investment and even really as a technology. Now, that's not to say people are spending it. And in fact, for a long time, the argument that kind of mainstream investors would make against it is, well, it's not really a currency. You can't buy anything with it. No one is using it as a currency. Well, that's correct. The appeal right now is as an investment. That said, PayPal planning to add Bitcoin buying and spending with Bitcoin is an interesting one. Of course, as the price goes up, I don't think people are going to want to spend their Bitcoin. But PayPal and Square getting in was really big as well. You had a lot of mainstream real estate, Wall Street investors, I should say, hedge fund names kind of changing their tune this year. All of those sort of narratives converged. I mean, when we did this 3 years ago in 2017, it was a little bit more frenzied, a little bit more, what's the argument here? People kind of confused, people talking about it around the Thanksgiving dinner table. That was the joke. Should I buy some? The price hike was so crazy. And then the big crash in about February 2018. It hasn't happened this time. And I think that arguably it's because of a few things, right? First of all, there was an interesting report. Jared Blicker and I were tweeting about this yesterday, but a report that the supply of Bitcoin in circulation is much smaller these days. That is, a small number of whales and firms hold a large percentage of the Bitcoin, and they aren't selling it. And as a result, that makes the amount that's actually in circulation selling right now more scarce and more appealing. Of course, that could cause more price volatility, but arguably it should make it even more appealing and cause the price to continue to go up. That's not to say there won't be continued price corrections, but it is hard to see a dramatic crash happening again. Of course, no one knows what's going to happen, right? I mean, I always tell people when they're asking me about the Bitcoin price, don't believe anyone who says that they know for sure what is going to happen with the price. But again, a lot of narratives converging and a lot kind of going right. The other thing I should make sure to mention is, the argument that what governments have been doing amid the pandemic strengthens Bitcoin's appeal as an investment, as a store of value, as a hedge. Anytime there's kind of mainstream uncertainty and anytime you have governments printing money and giving stimulus checks, the argument is that makes Bitcoin more appealing since it has scarcity, since it's digital gold. So, I think you might see the price continue to rise. Anyone can throw a dart at the board and try and predict what the price is going to do in 2021. But this late 2020 surge is remarkable. I mean, think about it this way. Bitcoin took 10 years in existence to get to 20,000 on December 15. Now it has gotten to 29,000 in 2 weeks.
Dan, what about the other coins, particularly Ether, Litecoin? They're kind of the two, I guess, most credible altcoins. They're probably not even altcoins at this point. But, really 2017 was defined not only by Bitcoin, but Dogecoin, Dentacoin, Monero, all this other crap, basically, that kind of came up in the space. Where are we at with that? Because, when Jared pulls up that heat map, Bitcoin is just way bigger, and that tracks everything by market cap, right? Bitcoin is just the giant in this space, and it seems like we're not wasting our time here talking about stellar lumens and all that kind of stuff.
That's right. And, I do think, to be fair, Ether is still kind of seen as the number two to Bitcoin. And I mean that in a positive way. And you still have a lot of people who try and say, well, Ethereum, that is the blockchain, the Ethereum blockchain, is the one that has bigger potential for creating decentralized apps and bigger business application long term than the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, I don't necessarily buy that because in the last few years, the biggest story about Ethereum was the network being clogged down by a very popular game. Remember CryptoKitties? Of course, people argue that Ethereum has strengthened since then. And since we're talking about price here, that's our real interest. Ether has really risen huge in 2020 as well. But that said, I do think that Bitcoin, if you want to throw in Ether, fine. They have sort of distinguished and differentiated themselves more than ever from the other coins, from the other altcoins. Boy, we could do a whole separate segment on XRP or Ripple, which, of course, we've all read about the problems happening there because Ripple, the company that created XRP, is now involved in a lawsuit with the SEC. So Coinbase and other big exchanges are suspending trading in XRP. XRP, one of the top 5 cryptocurrencies by market cap. So they all kind of have their different, some would say appeals, some would say problems. the companies and systems behind each coin would say use cases. But really, I kind of think there's Bitcoin, and then there's Ether, and then there's everything else. And I think you're right that for the most part, mainstream kind of finance and business media is paying less attention than before to those altcoins, or as some people call them, the word that rhymes with Bitcoin but starts with an SH, right, Myles?
Indeed, we won't say that here today, though, Dan Roberts. And of course, we didn't even talk about Coinbase going public possibly next year, as it intends to do at least. But we'll save that for 2021. Happy New Year, Dan! Thanks for chatting Bitcoin with us.